Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum children. How are you all? Hope you all to be in the best of your healths. Okay children, let's start a new way of studying, that is online. Hope you all enjoy it. So let's start our first English class of the session 2020-21 with the name of Allah. Our first topic of the first English class is the parts of speech. As parts of speech is the first step in the grammar study. By learning it, we begin to understand the use of function of words in a sentence. Means what? As we all know that what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words joined together to make a complete sense. Correct? So each and every word in a sentence performs different function. Right? For example, as a person may be a teacher, a doctor, and an engineer based on his or her job in a society. Similarly, a word can be a verb, an adjective, a noun, a pronoun, anything based on its job in a sentence, based on its function in a sentence. In other words, or in short, we can refer parts of a speech to as job title. As we can also see here, the classification of words according to their function in a sentence means the classification of words according to their function or job in a sentence as they works in a sentence. Now beta, how many parts of a speech are there? There are basically the 8 parts of a speech. What are they? They are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, conjunction, preposition, interjection. Right? These are the 8 parts of speech. Now the first one we are going to study is, we are very familiar with noun. Noun is a word that we use as the name of something. Right? Each and everything, each and everybody around us, whether it be living or non-living, has got a particular name. Correct? Yes, has got a particular name. That particular naming word is called a noun. Now it may be a name of a person, Alishba, Ali, place, Karachi, Pakistan, animal, cat, tiger, thing, table, pen, feeling or an idea, hatred, love, etc. As we can see, we have also got a sentence over here to identify the nouns out of it. Alishba went to Malta on vacation with her family last year. So let's identify nouns out of it. First of all, the first word, Alishba. We very well know that Alishba is the name of a girl. So it is a naming word, means it's a noun. Went to Malta. Where did she go? The name of the place? Malta. So again we have got one more naming word, that is Malta. On vacation. Vacation is a name given to a kind of trip. So we have one more word, that is vacation. With her family. Family is a word given to a group of people living together, those who are related to each other. Yes, so it is also a naming word. So family. And last year. When did she go? Last year. Now, year is also a noun because year is also a name given to time taken by the earth to complete one revolution, right? So, all these words, all these naming words are called noun. Yes? So, now let's move forward. The types of noun. Based on their use, we have the different types of noun. There are basically 8 types of noun: proper noun, common noun, concrete noun, abstract noun, countable noun, uncountable noun, collective noun, and the last but not the least is the compound noun. So let's start with the very first one, proper noun. Proper. What we get by the word proper? Yes, we understand the word proper. Yes, proper noun means what? A proper name. Noun we very well know is a naming word. So proper name. So the proper name of any person, anything, comes under proper noun, right? The name of a particular person, place, or object that is spelled with a capital letter. For example, if a girl is standing in front of us, we may call her a girl, right? In general, she is a girl. But if it comes to her proper name, we call her with her name. She must have got some name now, Alishba, Aiza, whatever, right? So that particular name that she has got comes under proper noun. The proper noun of anything, may it be of a person, of a place, anything, right? For example, if we come to our particular beloved city, Karachi, so Karachi is a proper name of our city, right? So Alishbagh, Ali, Karachi, the Daily Telegraph, etc., they all come under the heading of a proper noun, means the proper noun of anything, right? Now the next we have is common noun. Common noun is a word used to name a person, place, or thing in general, not specifically. Means, for example, as I just now told you, that if a girl is standing in front of me, she has got a proper noun Alishba, but in general we can call her a girl, right? A girl, a boy. As I told you just now, that our beloved city has got a name Karachi, correct? But if we talk in general, it is a city now. We just can say a city also, right? So the general names given to the different things comes under common noun, right? Country, city, month, etc. The next one we have is concrete noun. Concrete means what? Do you understand the word concrete? A concrete noun represents something that can be seen, touched, tasted, heard, or smelt. In other words, a concrete noun is something you can perceive with at least one of your senses. Means what, beta? Anything that has a physical appearance. That has a physical appearance comes under concrete noun, right? Because unless and until something has a physical appearance, can you touch it? No, you can't. Yes, so anything that has a physical appearance in a concrete form comes under concrete noun. For example, wood, stone, table, clock, this pen, right? We can touch this pen, na? Yes, so they all come under the concrete noun. Yes, that can be seen, that can be touched. There is something that has some physical appearance, right? The next one we have is abstract noun. An abstract noun is a noun that refers to an intangible concept, right? The things that does means it is totally opposite of concrete. The things that do not have any physical appearance, we cannot touch them, we cannot see them, right? Because it is they are connected to some kind of feelings or idea. For example, a quality like truth, danger, happiness, etc., means they can be just felt, but we cannot see them, we cannot touch them, right? Okay, now next comes countable noun. Very clear with the name, countable, that can be counted in numbers. Countable nouns are those that refer to something that can be counted. They have both singular as well as plural forms. For example, city, cities, cat, cats, cake, cakes, etc. Means anything that we can count in numbers. For example, if 2 pens are lying over here, so we can say these are 2 pens. We can easily count them. Yes, so they come under the countable nouns. Now next we have the opposite of countable noun, that is uncountable noun. And uncountable noun, it's exactly what it sounds like, a noun that refers to things that normally are not or cannot be counted in numbers. For example, milk, water, sugar, etc. Can we count milk? No, we can't. We cannot count milk. We can measure milk, but we cannot count it in numbers, right? We can measure milk, water, sugar. Like we can measure 1 liter or 2 liter of milk, 1 liter water, 2 liter water, 1 kg sugar, 2 kg sugar. But Do we ever say one water, two water, one milk, two milk, one sugar, two sugar? No, we cannot count them in numbers. We can only measure them, right? In the units. The next one we have is collective nouns. Collective nouns are names for a collection of a number of people or things. For example, group, herd, array, etc. Means what? When we take the number of people or anything as a group, like right, when we collect them as a group, when we name a group or anything, they comes under collective noun. Like we often say a team of players, a group of a team of players. What does it mean? A group of players playing together. So we take them in a collective group, a team of players. A swarm of bees means what? A group of bees going together. Okay? So when we call them collectively in a group, they come under collective noun. The last but not the least we have is compound noun. A compound noun contains two or more words that join together to make a single noun. For example, keyboard, sister-in-law, cake shop, etc. We can easily see here, like for example, we have keyboard. Now, we can easily see this word keyboard. It consists of two words, key and board. Sister-in-law, sister and law. Cake shop, cake and shop. Now beta, I have given you three words as an example, right? Keyboard, sister-in-law, cake shop. But all these three words look a bit different. Like keyboard, we can see it also consists of two words, key and board, but there is no space between both of these words, key and board. They both comes together, keyboard. So beta, these type of compound nouns are called closed compound nouns. What are they called? They are called closed compound nouns. Like, right? The next one is we see sister-in-law. All the words sister-in-law are separated by a hyphen, right? So these type of compound nouns are called hyphenated compound nouns. And the next one is we see cake shop. There is a space between both the words cake and shop. So these type of words, these type of compound nouns are called open compound nouns, which have a space between both the words, right? So here we come to an end of the first part of a speech, that is noun and its type. Hope you all understood it well, right? And one of the and as I hope that you all understood it well and are now able to complete exercise 1 of the given handouts, right? If you have any queries, you can ask me in the Zoom meeting. So Jazakallah, let's meet in the next class inshallah. Do task 1 of the given handouts. Jazakallah, Allah Hafiz, take care, stay safe. Allah Hafiz children.